Aloha! It's Jessica Oyanagi, the founder and owner of Bloom, and I'm here today with a video to give you my tips and tricks for preparing for tax season, right? Isn't this one of our favorite times of year as business owners? And I'm here to help ease your discomfort a little bit and hopefully give you some ideas to make sure your entry into tax season is very nurturing and as stress-free as possible. And if you've never watched one of my videos before, I love to come here and share my tips and tricks on being a woman entrepreneur with you on YouTube. And if you find value in this video, if you could give me a like and hit that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. So tip number one that I would love to give you is I'd love you to take kind of just personal inventory of your feelings, excuse me, when it comes to tax preparation or bookkeeping or keeping track of your expenses and your income, right? Not all of us as business owners are wired in such a way that we love to put attention on our finances and these details, okay? And I just wanna say that it's totally okay. I am much more the type of business owner that's focused on vision, on serving clients, on managing teams, right? And things like that. And I get all the help and support I can possibly afford when it comes to the area of bookkeeping and taxes and things of that nature, okay? So I just want you to, do whatever it takes to calm your nervous system a little bit before we dive into this video, because I know it can be stressful for a lot of you out there. So if there's any, you want to pause and do some deep breathing, maybe go get some exercise and then come back to the video. Do whatever it takes so that you are really in a more receptive mode to hear this information. Because if you're anything like me, you can maybe go into a little bit of freeze mode when you start, talking too much about these topics that, I don't know, I just turn my brain off because it's something that does not interest me whatsoever. But finances and taxes are part of being a business owner, right? So the first thing I want you to do is settle yourself and also recognize that we all have different gifts and talents, right? Some of you watching might be super into taking care of your finances, tracking everything, all the money in and out, and all of that amazing stuff that goes into being a business owner, but some of you may not be wired that way, and that's totally okay, okay? And I also want you to know that I'm obviously not a tax professional, I'm not a bookkeeper, okay? I own 3 different businesses, and I've had to face the music when it comes to filing my taxes every single year. So I do have just a little bit of experience with ways that this can be a much easier process for you. So that's what this video is all about. And so it's okay if you want to take stock of your natural strengths and talents and focus most of your time and energy there and hire help, right? When it comes to any tax preparation, any bookkeeping, any of the financial side of your business. I just want to give you full permission that that's okay to get the help that you need. Okay, so tip number 2 that I have for you is to look back at 2022 or whatever the previous year is when you're watching this video, and I want you to, gather up all of your income and your expenses, right, for your business and the way that you ran it in the previous year, okay? Some of you maybe already have bookkeepers and everything's in order and ready to go. Some of you maybe were just starting brand new businesses and don't really know where to begin. So at the very, very base, like at the most basic form, if you can just create a spreadsheet for yourself, and hopefully you have receipts for anything that you purchased, right? That's a business expense. I would like you to document in that spreadsheet what your income was, right? Where the money was coming in for the business, and then your expenses were, where the money was going out, okay? So this is very, very just basic, right? Bookkeeping when you're just starting out. Maybe you can't afford to hire someone just yet. Maybe you don't even really have enough transactions to justify bringing in a bookkeeper. But that's just very, very basic. There's tons of tutorials on how to do this on the internet. So I won't waste your time and my time going through exactly how to do that, but the very basics of income and expenses, right? And the reason you want to do this is because when you go to file your taxes, you're going to have to fill out a Schedule C where you document all of that income and all of your expenses, right? So if you haven't done this, if it's brand new to you, please either enlist help from a professional or go online and do a little bit of self-education and make sure that you have all of that financial data either in a spreadsheet, or at the very least, you know, you have your bank statement and you have your receipts, and get ready, okay? Okay, tip number 3 that I have for you is that you're going to organize, right, all of this information that I asked you to gather in step number 2. And there's a couple different ways you can do this, right? Everything from the spreadsheet that I mentioned. You can also sign up online for QuickBooks. They have tons of inexpensive, right, like monthly payment type programs, online programs that you can use to categorize your income and your expenses, okay? Because when you go to file your taxes, you need to know where these expenses and income, where they fall, the categories they fall into, so that you can fill out that Schedule C, okay? So let's say you travel for business, right? You drive and meet clients, right? And you want to write off, you know, expenses for your car or the mileage you used when you were meeting those clients, okay? That expense category is going to be very different from, let's say, a computer that you purchased or office supplies or something along those lines. So the very basic steps of bookkeeping is just categorizing all the income and all the expenses that you received when you were doing business last year, okay? Now, if the thought of, again, doing this on your own terrifies you, or you start to numb out, that's probably a sign that you should enlist some help. There are lots of tutorials online about using QuickBooks on your own, and I think that's a great first step if you can't afford to hire a bookkeeper, is to have an online program where you can input all of your information and you can categorize it accordingly before you prepare to file your taxes, right? But if you're at a point in your business, or even just personally can afford to hire a bookkeeper, let me tell you, that has been life-changing for me in my businesses, and the first major expense that I would highly recommend any entrepreneur invest in, okay? And it really is an investment because it's gonna save you time, right? Because the professional is gonna be able to do it probably 10 times faster and more accurately. And it's gonna save you energy, right? Like, this is not something that's in your zone of genius that you love to be doing. Then you can clear that off your plate and spend time doing the things that you should be doing to advance and move your business forward, right? So if you don't already have a bookkeeper, I highly, highly recommend hiring one. They can be a fantastic resource for you, education for you about the health, the financial health of your business, right? And can just help you get everything organized to prepare your taxes accordingly. So if you haven't invested in that yet, maybe that's on your plate for 2023 as something on your to-do list to add a bookkeeper to your team. I would really, really recommend it. I think it can be very life-changing for you. So this step 3, is just all about getting everything organized and categorized. That way, when you go to file your Schedule C for your business, you have all of the information at your fingertips. Okay, and step number 4 that I have for you for preparing for a simple tax season is to actually work on filing your taxes, right? Once you've got all of your financial data, you've organized it appropriately, then you're gonna sit down and actually work on your taxes or have someone help you do that, okay? So if you are someone that wants to file your taxes on your own, I really recommend TurboTax. That's a program that I have used personally for many, many years. And they have a great online program, right? Because it guides you with questions through the steps of filling out that Schedule C and actually filing your taxes through an online program. So you don't have to sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper, I don't know if anyone does it that way anymore, and actually fill out your tax forms by hand. Everything is calculated for you. They run checks in the program to make sure that everything is filled out correctly. I mean, it's amazing technology in my opinion. For someone like me, I personally still file my own taxes. It's probably on my list for next year to hire a tax person. I've done so in the past, but I actually prefer to do them myself still at this point. I'm very savvy to different ways that you can save on your taxes and love doing that myself and making sure that everything is caught. But if you aren't familiar with that, I would suggest hiring a tax pro to help you with this. If you can afford it, it's not cheap to hire someone. TurboTax Online, when you do the online filing, does have an option for having a tax pro check what you've done in the program. So just kind of like a double check of the work that you've done in the online program. So that's a really nice option if you can't quite afford to hire a tax pro to do everything for you. That could be kind of an intermediate step. But if you're just starting out and your business is very simple, I would just recommend using the TurboTax Online. But if you've been in business many years and it's getting more and more complex for you, maybe hiring a tax pro would be the way to go, just to make sure that everything is done perfectly, right? So that's kind of my last step for you, is to actually, use everything that we worked on and file your taxes. I personally like to set little chunks of time aside to work on my taxes. I constantly just have like a note open on my phone and I'm making notes about like where I'm at, what data maybe I don't have when I've been working on the taxes that day that I need to bring in. It's kind of an ongoing process for me personally, that I just digest it better that way. I'm not the person that's gonna sit down and be like, today is tax day and I'm gonna spend 6 hours, working on the program. I just cannot, I will not. That's not gonna happen. Like, totally check out mentally and emotionally. So I say just do whatever it takes to chunk it up and start as early as possible, and get it done way before, right, the tax deadline in April, because you don't want to be in a situation where you have to ask for a tax extension or you're not filing on time or something like that. I just highly recommend not putting this off. I know a lot of us would like to just put it off to the last minute because it's kind of a pain to do. But the more proactive you can do it, the more digestible bites you can take as you're preparing and getting ready and filing, the better it's going to be, for your nervous system, for actually completing the task, because everyone has to go through this as a business owner. So I hope some of these tips were helpful. If you have questions, you can always direct message me. If you found this helpful, if you could give me a like and hit that subscribe button for other videos that I'll be releasing where I give tips and tricks. I'm going to be doing interviews with other female entrepreneurs. Sometimes I just like to come on and kind of just share my feelings and visions, for being a female entrepreneur and what that means for you and our community. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week on my heart to heart video. Aloha.